live. So you should be able to come in.
Okay.
Is it letting you come in?
No. Well, I think I'm in. I don't think I just got on camera. 1 minute until showtime. Which is okay with me. It says 4 of us are watching. Me, Dorothy, Barb, and you.
Okay, but I was trying.
It's okay with me if you can't get me on camera. Really it is.
Okay. Well, I guess I should see if the chat room, who's all here. Well, it says people are watching, but I don't see anybody in the group on the side, so I don't know what's going on with this thing. So, let's see. Camera, screen share. Oh, gosh. Okay.
Oh, there you are. The show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Love Voice Radio. Welcome, everyone. This is your favorite food alchemist coming to you live. I have a show every Friday that you don't want to miss on Ustream TV and Blog Talk Radio. You can call it 323-693-3312. We will talk about various things, from vibrations to colors to herbs. I will share recipes with you about the healing, what I want to do for you. But if you cannot make our show and must have a conversation with me, like to get an alchemy reading and to discover your other self of really getting involved with you, you can call me at 480-253-9407. That number again is 480-253-9407. That is the phone number you can call. If you want to see some of my work, who I've worked with, some of the testimonies, and some of the videos that are just there live, you can go to www.CHESSOOODALCHEMIST.com. That website again is www.CHESSOODALCHEMIST.com. That is Chef Sunday Food Alchemist. We have posts and blogs and recipes on it. We also offer you wonderful alchemy treats, Kava Bliss oil. We also offer valerian brownies that are gluten-free, sugar-free. What other delights you say we have? We also have an alchemy line of treatments for the body to pull in this inner goddess or God within you. We also have drawing positivity into you. So these are some of the things that you can find on this wonderful website. So why don't you go down and call that number?
253-9047. That is the number, 480-253-9407. And this is your favorite food alchemist, and I have a wonderful guest on here today. So I can't see my viewers. I don't know what's going on. I tried to get her on camera, but this Google Hangout has got to get a little bit better. Before I could get everybody in the world on here. Now it's like, okay, enter at your own risk. And I'm not going to turn my camera off. So I hope you guys are just ready and raring to go and waiting to hear from my wonderful guest that is a hypnotherapist. She is also live tonight on TPN. For you guys that don't know what that stands for, it's True Psychic Network. She is live tonight on True Psychic Network about 8 p.m. Her name is Jan, and she is wonderful. She will take you on a discovery from your past life regression, if that's where it goes, or in your future from this dimension, other dimension. It also is good for helping with weight loss, also good for people that have amnesia, it's also helping people recover from trauma, trauma like sexual trauma, physical trauma. There's so many ways that hypnotherapy can work with you and for you that it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your hair. Your hands stand up on your head like that. So I want to say thank you and welcome, Jen. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, Stephanie, for that amazing intro and for this wonderful opportunity. It is a special day for your listeners and your viewers, those who can see, because we're both alchemists. We're alchemy, we do alchemy with food and other types of natural things, and I do alchemy with hypnosis. So this is a double whammy for those of you just looking for anything alchemy or alchemical. And what that does, alchemy is about transforming you. Back in the day, it was people identified alchemy as turning lead into gold, but it was never ever about that. It's always been about transforming your soul, transforming your body, transforming your life. And you've got a pair of alchemists with you today, so I hope some of you will call in with some great questions. But I can't thank you enough, Tessa. You're right. Everything you said is true. Hypnosis can deal with such a large number of things. If you want to quit smoking or lose weight, if you have panic or stress, those types of things, we can easily deal with straightforward hypnotherapy. We can also do alchemy hypnotherapy, where you can go into your past and find out why you may be repeating some patterns. We can go into your future. We can go to your Akashic records, and it's all done 100% with your spirit guide. It's just me telling you anything. I don't know anything. I only know how to help you touch in with your spirit guide. And it's your spirit guides that give you the information and it takes you on the journey to go on. So this is unique in that it's not somebody telling you what happened to you in a past life. This is you actually experiencing it. You're actually walking the walk and tasting the food and meeting the people. And often you find that we travel in soul groups, and it's not unusual for somebody to find themselves in a past life or in a future life with someone that they know from today, from 2015. So it's really interesting, and there's a lot of different things you can do.
Well, I wanted to tell people who you are, your background, because they might not know. They might be oblivious to what TPN is and never seen of you and never heard of you. So we got to give them a blast.
You're right. Thank you very much. I apologize to everybody listening. I'm so used to working with Ceci that it's just like, hey, Ceci, what's going on? My name is Barthrope-Babbitt. I have multiple certifications in hypnotherapy. I'm certified in hypnotherapy, and I'm certified in post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm certified in smoking. I'm certified in helping people overcome issues that they've had with stroke. I do NLP, neuro-linguistics programming. I'm certified in traditional past life regression, and I have 2 certifications in alchemical past life regression. I found alchemical past life regression to be such a life changer for me that I chose to give up my corporate job, and this is what I do. One of the reasons I do it is because a lot of the people work 9 to 5, and I'm available on the weekends, and I'm available in the evening. And it's very, very important. I want you to know I'm available over Skype. I'm available over the telephone. I am located in Granby, Connecticut, but I work all over the world. I work in different countries. As long as we can figure out the time zone and we can be at the same place on the telephone at the same time or on Skype at the same time, I can work with you no matter where you are. That's not a limitation, and that's one of the wonderful things about hypnosis is your eyes are closed anyway, and all we need to do is talk to each other. So it's no different than the way I'm talking to you right now, the way you're hearing me right now. I can work with you no matter what country, city, or state you're in. It's not an issue. I chose to focus my work on, although I do traditional hypnotherapy, I chose to focus and specialize in past life regression because traditional hypnotherapy is extremely effective. It's something that can be dealt with traditional hypnotherapy. If you're dealing with a past life issue, if you constantly are looking for love in the wrong places, if you're struggling with different issues in your life, and I just drew a blank on what issue anybody could ever have, but a lot of times what's happening, especially if you have a fear, fears and phobias are often and almost always from the past. So if you have a fear or a phobia, it's probably from the past. I had a lady who had a fear of heights, and it turns out that she was thrown off the castle wall in the 1400s. Well, that would make me terribly afraid of heights if I had that experience. But she's already had that experience and doesn't need to have it again. So what we did, we went back, we found out where the fear of heights originated, which was in the 1400s for her, and she relived the experience without the panic, without the pain, without the drama, and got the understanding that that's why she was afraid. And when she realized why she had the fear of heights, now it's a little bit like a habit, and she simply remembers that she doesn't have to do that anymore. She had a very good reason for being afraid of heights, but nobody's going to throw her up the castle wall in 2016. So she doesn't have to be afraid of that anymore, and she can enjoy, all the things that are up high, roller coasters and lighthouses and, the Space Needle and all the things that she couldn't enjoy before because she's very, very frightened by heights. That's been removed. She no longer has to feel that way. And often we find things in our past lives once we understand them. And you do go back and have the experience, but you don't ever have to experience pain. We always ask that anything good that happens, I'll leave you to hang out there. If you're having the world's greatest birthday party, we'll stay there for a little while and enjoy that. But if you're having any terror or fear or trauma, we don't have to experience that again. You've already had that. We just came back to the information. And the great thing about Alchemist past life regression is it's healing. I have a certification in traditional past life regression, and that's interesting. It was very interesting for me to go back and look at things, but I needed more. And that's when I started with Alchemist past life regression, because you actually go back with the purpose of healing. A lot of people think of hypnosis as acting like a duck.
Okay.
Some people do that. That's called stage hypnosis. My standard answer when somebody asks me if I'm going to make them quack like a duck, I tell them that I am. And if you want entertainment, you have to change the entertainment rate. So I'm not going to make you quack like a duck. You can't do things you don't want to do. You can open your eyes at any time. You are in complete and total control. And the interesting thing is, if you've never been hypnotized and you don't know what it feels like, you are in two places at once. You can hear my voice and you can follow my instructions. One of my instructions would be to make sure you don't fall asleep, because I want you to have the experience. But you will remember everything that you experience. 100% of what you experience, you will remember. And the reason we'll do that is because of two things. I'm going to suggest that you remember everything that you experience. And I'm also going to take you to a level of hypnosis where you can remember everything. There's a deeper level of hypnosis where you wouldn't remember anything, where it would feel like amnesia. And if that's something that you wanted to try, I would do that with you after you've had at least one experience with being able to remember everything. But I can say to you, the way that I do it right now, unless you and I have decided to take a different path, you will remember 100% of the experience 100% of the time. And I can say that because every client that I've ever worked with remembers everything. And that's the first question I will ask you when you come out of hypnosis. I'll say, what do you remember? And you'll say to me, I remember everything. You'll choose that word because that's the word that I use with you. But then I'll start asking you different things, and you will tell me, yes, I remember this, and yes, I remember that. And often, this is the tip of the iceberg. What happens for days or weeks afterwards, things become clearer. You may, if you're lucky, have an enormous experience afterwards. Most people have subtle, small experiences, and yet it helps them understand something that was not clear in their life. Most people don't get a Disneyland movie hypnotherapy experience. Some people do. I'm not one of them, but some people do get the tremendous movie, color, smell, sight, sound. It's amazing. For most of us, we're going to have a past life regression experience the same way you remember what you had for lunch yesterday. If you visualize it, you're going to visualize it. If you can actually remember what it tasted like, then you're going to taste it. If you can smell it, then you're going to smell it. But it gets easier as the regressions go on. I usually do at least 2 past lives during one regression, because in the beginning you think you're making it up. I understand that. I did too. In the beginning, I thought I was making it up, and when I came back to the present time and place, the person who regressed me asked me why I would be, a small slave boy who made stuff in prison. Why would I make that up? And I said, you're right. If I was going to make something up, I would be Cleopatra. I've always wanted to be Cleopatra, but so far, none of my past lives, I haven't been Cleopatra. I'm just boring, old, whatever. But they're tremendously healing, and the information that you bring back is just life-changing.
Okay.
So, how was that, Betsy? Oh, and you can reach me. By the way, my name is Dan. My name is Dan Barthrope-Babbitt, and you can reach me at Real, R-E-A-L, Change, C-H-A-N-G-E, Therapy, T-H-E-R-A-P-Y. That's my Facebook page, and that's my website. So with realchangetherapy.com, you're going to end up at my website. There's lots of different journeys you can take. I've got some testimonials up there about other people's journeys. But the most important thing is you're going to need to call me before we work together. I require that you do a 15-minute free consultation. I require that you and I talk for 15 minutes so I can find out exactly what it is you want. So you can feel more comfortable about the fact that I'm not going to, get your bank account numbers. You can't do anything under hypnosis that you wouldn't normally do. You will not tell me your secrets. You will not act like a duck. You will not do anything embarrassing. You probably will cry. Most people cry. When I take you on a past life regression, we also stop off at a place of healing, a place of light, where you can speak to people that have crossed over. Traditionally, when somebody's crossed over, you probably didn't get a chance to say everything you wanted to say. Usually it's kind of a surprise. Even if it's an illness, nobody expected to happen that soon. My grandmother was approaching her 106th birthday when she died. We were planning her 106th birthday when she died. At 105, almost 106, I was still surprised. There were still things I wanted to say to her. But what most people don't realize, and I certainly didn't when I started this, the people that you love that have crossed over just might have something to say to you. There might be things that they never got to say to you, and most of the time, it's about how proud they are of you, or how they're with you and they're watching you all the time, or how much they love you. But very, very often, people who crossed over have a message for you. And in this place of light, this place where you're able to go and heal and talk to people who crossed over and talk to your spirit guides, they very often have something to say to you, something you hadn't thought about. Most of us think, oh, I needed to say sorry, or maybe Grammy didn't know I loved her so much, or I meant to tell her about her. You know what? They have something to say to you too, and it's always healing, and it's always good, and it's always worth the trip. But hypnosis doesn't have to be scary, because it's not. It's not magic. It's science. You can see the cough and itch. You can talk to me. You will talk to me. You can tell me that you're too hot, or you're too cold, or you need me to speak louder, or you need me to speak more quietly. You can talk, you can itch, you can open your eyes at any time. You can do whatever you need to do. You're perfectly safe, and you are in control 100% of the time.
I like that. See, and a lot of people would never, ever guess that about mind control, because they see those, that little, what is that? movie where people are quacking like a duck. You know what I mean? That's what they see and trying to figure out, like, why am I quacking like a duck? So that's where that stem of fear comes from. So, and I don't blame them. I don't know what's going on. Can you still see me?
I cannot. But wait, because I'm not where I should be, so I flipped over to text for some reason. Let me check and see if I can. Yes, I think I can see. Well, I don't see a still of you. I don't see you live.
I don't know what's going on. Okay. Blame it on the energy. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I really do. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. So you're just hearing me, but you see the still photo of me in green, holding up, being the food alchemist. But it's a live show, so this is still good for you guys, even though you can't see me and everything. And maybe that's a good thing. But I wanted to talk with you about, do you work with adolescents?
As long as mom and dad are okay with it, yeah, absolutely. And mom and dad need to know that I'm not going to share, and the adolescent needs to know that I'm not going to share the experience with mom and dad. If there's anything that I think mom and dad need to know, I will tell the adolescent. I'm going to tell mom and dad this. So there won't be any surprises or secrets, but it isn't an opportunity. And believe me, I would have loved this when mine were adolescents. It isn't an opportunity for mom and dad to crack into the kids' mind because I can't. I need to respect their experience and their journey. Yes, I will absolutely work with adolescents.
So she's the gatekeeper with the safe safe
yes,
key.
I'm the gatekeeper. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, the kids are safe with me.
And that's good. Because kids are going through so much right now and they don't know who and why they want to trust. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about hypnotherapy and basically how do you think it got started versus, the ones that out there are just doing it for magic and tricks, but how it went from that to actually healing people. How did that transition go? Go ahead.
Hypnotherapy has been used for thousands and thousands and thousands of years as medicine, as a tool to help people. It's not uncommon. It probably is uncommon in this country, but it's great for pain relief. It's great for pain relief if you have chronic pain. I can work with you if you have chronic pain, and if you're willing to release it and understand that everybody's different and we all have different motives, and if you're willing to release whatever the issue is, I can help you release it. You may not be willing to release it. I have some techniques that I use to try to help you release it. So there are people who find some kind of intrinsic value in having a bad hip or having a bad back. And you know what? Sometimes those things serve us in different ways. And it seems odd if you don't have that issue. It may even seem odd if you do have that issue. But it's like smoking. Let me use smoking for example. People that smoke, especially if you smoke for a long time, cigarettes are your best friend. Cigarettes have never let you down. Cigarettes may be killing you, okay? Mm-hmm. But emotionally, they're your best friends. They've been there for you forever, since whenever, probably since you were a teenager. When you were happy, when you were sad, in the middle of the night when nobody else was there, cigarettes have always been there. So it's hard to release that. You may have identified yourself as the person with a bad hip. You may, on a conscious or unconscious level, be enjoying the attention that you get. Maybe nobody ever really held open doors for you before. It sounds crazy, but there's secondary gain for many, many things that we do. If you have a bad habit, I can help you find the secondary gain for it. There's a reason people do what they do, even if they're not aware of it. So pain relief is a big thing. I have a friend who is a specialist in hypnobirthing and, does hypnosis during the birthing process. There's, you would be really good with that stuff. There's so many different ways that you can use hypnosis, but it was not started, thousands and thousands of years ago. It was started as probably pain relief, probably for medical issues. People back then had teeth, so they probably had, toothaches, and they had heads, they probably had headaches or backaches or whatever. And hypnotherapy is great at pain relief, whether it's a temporary thing that you're having or a long-term thing. But it's been used for many, many years. I don't know when, and that's a good question, and I'm going to look that up, when it started being used for entertainment. But let me tell you about the entertainment with hypnotherapy. There's a real purpose for it. Not everybody is shy, and I'm assuming some of us are gregarious and crazy. But this goes under the heading of you can't do anything you don't want to do, even if you're hypnotized. I know some of the best stage hypnotists in the world, and if you gathered up 10 of them, they would not be able to get me on stage and sing a song because I don't sing. I don't sing in the car, I don't sing in the shower. But a few times in my life that I do sing makes me laugh because I'm so terrible at it. So I don't sing, and no matter how good a hypnotist you are, you cannot convince me to get on stage and sing a song. I don't sing Happy Birthday at children's birthday parties. I don't sing. However, when Aunt Martha gets on stage at the county fair, and Aunt Martha sings the Star Spangled Banner, and then she talks about it for the next 15 years at every family gathering in the community, you got to know that Aunt Martha wanted to get on stage and sing. Aunt Martha may be too shy to do that, but there was part of her that wanted to get up on stage and sing, and I'll tell you 2 reasons that you can be sure that that's true. One, she wouldn't have gone up on stage. Nobody ever gets clubbed in the head and drug on stage. People have to volunteer.
Right.
If you pay attention, they don't keep everybody. They send some people back. But everybody has to volunteer. So Aunt Martha volunteered for this experience. And Aunt Martha's still talking about it 15 years later. Frankly, it was one of the best experiences of her life. She finally got to sing in front of people. So hypnosis is fantastic. You're taking away your inhibition, which is all stage hypnosis. They take away your inhibition.
Right.
If you have you want a higher golf, excuse me, be lower. If you want a lower golf score, hypnosis can help that. If you want to run faster, hypnosis can help that. And you know what? While we're talking about metaphysical stuff, hypnosis can help you contact your inner guides. Hypnosis can help you become a better meditator. Hypnosis can put you more in touch with your inner guides. It can help you, like I said, it can help you run faster and jump higher and sleep better and have less anxiety, because all we're doing is talking to your subconscious. And you'll remember everything that happened.
Right. All right. So it brings out what you really want brought out of yourself to improve yourself, but also it you really want to get rid of it. Like you said, someone that doesn't excuse me, that does not want to smoke, basically it's calling on that to say, okay, you're not going to smoke anymore, and I'm willing to let go. So it kind of loosened the barriers that hold us back with excuses why we continue to smoke. Am I saying it right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're saying it exactly right. And the thing is, smoking is a habit. And once you're hypnotized, stop smoking, the habit doesn't completely go away. And I laugh when I tell people that I did not know for a long time. I'm an ex-smoker. I used hypnotherapy to stop smoking. But I was very surprised when I found out that I could drive my car without a lit cigarette in my hand. I didn't know I could pull out of the driveway or out of the parking. But that's the first thing often we do is, well, first we get in the car, close the door, light up, and turn the key. But you can actually turn the key and drive forward without a cigarette in your hand. And the first couple of times I did that, I laughed, because I was like, oh, it is possible. I could eat breakfast without, I could eat breakfast and not have a cigarette. It was a miracle. But it's a habit. It's kind of like when you take the same route to work every day, and then you your work location changes, you still manage to get to the other new place. So habits are just habits. You don't have to be dictated by your habits. And smoking is like that. Losing weight is like that. I will tell you, you need to be very serious about what it is you want to give up. I had a friend who wanted to give up diet soda, and I think it's been 3 years, roughly 3 years since she's had a diet soda. I wanted to give up chocolate because I used chocolate every time my boss was a jerk, or, the guy in front of me cut me off, or, the electric bill was more than I thought it should be. No matter what bad thing was going on in my life, chocolate, I turned to chocolate. So I did hypnosis on myself, and I was able to remove the chocolate. I don't get sad, it's a sad thing now. I don't get satisfaction out of chocolate the way I used to. A hot fried Sunday will not do a bad day for me. It never did, but in my mind it did. So I took that away, and if I had to do it over again, I probably wouldn't take chocolate away. I'd probably find a different way to do it. My friend who gave up diet soda was delighted with it and doesn't ever want to look at another diet soda again. But weight is the same thing. It's about your association with food. Food doesn't do anything but fuel your body. That's the only thing food does. Food doesn't make a good day bad. It doesn't make a bad day good. Better than anybody, food is fuel. That's all it is. It's never, ever, ever changed anything, emotionally for you. It's an illusion. And if you can work with Ceci on proper food choices and me with eliminating the need to stress eat, you got the total package. You're gonna be amazing.
Well, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. So now that we got that, so they're understanding a little bit, they're coming in a little bit clearer about hypnotherapy, what it can do in the positive plus, not only in the spiritual and metaphysical world, but also in the everyday world of everything, of even, like you said, it can help you run faster. It can also help you heal faster if that's what you want. And it also can help whatever gifts that you had actually come to the surface as well. Because some people have gifts and I want my gift, but it's so buried or they're so busy doing things that they forget and leave it behind. So I love that, especially for the kids, not kids, but teenagers, especially when they're going through trauma of, the peer pressure of smoking, the peer pressure of drugs, the peer pressure of sex, the peer pressure of being the cool kid, or the peer pressure of just being a teenager in this day and time and everything. To me, I think this would be great to sit down and, work with them as they're transforming or transitioning from that young adult into an adult. You know what I mean? Because they don't know how to transform their life.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Can you imagine, as two women who were obviously once adolescents, how wonderful it would have been to have self-esteem
right.
as adolescents? Because I think that's the first thing to go. As soon as you become, you get into the puberty area, and it's like, now you don't have any self-esteem because you just started measuring yourself up against everybody on the planet. Well, even as grown-ups, we have self-esteem issues, and self-esteem issues are like dominoes that affect everything, every area of your life. How your friendships go, how your relationships with your intimate relationships go, how relationships with teachers and bosses, and when you have poor self-esteem, it affects everything.
Yes.
And that's a great thing to work with an adolescent about is self-esteem. And again, I can't say enough. It's popping in my head. Working with you and working with me would be such a great combination for people because I can make it easier for them to make the right choices, and you can help them find the right choices. It's such a great combination. But you said something about your gifts, and I have to laugh because I had one lady who was complaining. She wanted her gifts, she wanted her guides to be more clear with her, and we did an hypnosis session, and her guides have been very clear with her. Her guides have been giving her information. She's been ignoring it. So we went to the Akashic Records and we talked to her guides. Your Akashic Records are your library of life or your library of sky. It's where all your information from everything you've ever done in all your lifetimes is there.
Right.
And we went there and her guide said, look, we've been talking to you, you're not listening. She said, well, I want you to speak louder. And they said, okay. And but they're not my words, these are the guides' words. They said, because they don't always get it. They're up there and we're down here.
Right.
And they said, well, we're going to start tripping you up. And she said, what does that mean? And they said, we're going to start making you trip. And then when you trip, you'll realize. And she said, no, I don't want to become accident prone. If there's something else we can do, because the guy said, if we make her trip, she'll, that would be an association. She doesn't trip all the time. And she immediately said, no, she didn't want to do that because she didn't want to become accident prone. Was there something else? And her and the guys negotiated back and forth, and yes, you can do that on some things. Not on everything, but on some things. And so I heard more recently, what the guys decided to do was to make her nose itchy. And she said she really wasn't great with that either. And the guys said, it won't hurt you, but you can't ignore an itchy nose. So whenever the guys are trying to send a message through to her nose gets uncontrollably itchy. And I had to remind her that it's still better than falling down the stairs,
Yeah.
It's better. But you can sometimes go to your contract, because when you were in the ethers before you came down here, whether you believe it or not, it's true. Just like whether you believe in past life regressions or not, it still works whether you believe in it or not. I didn't believe in it the first time I had it done, but you can explore your life contract with your guides, and there were things that you agreed to do when you came down. And we often, when we're walking around on Earth, try to bite off more than we can chew. So you can imagine what we might do in ether, where we forget about gravity and self-esteem and chocolate and all these things,
Right.
So you may have made a contract. Say, I had a woman who was never going to have children. She had an issue with her past life and was never ever going to have children, and that was it. She was never going to have children. And she talked to the guys and she said, you know what? Maybe I really want children. Is there any way we can do this? And she did it. She did end up being able to have children in her life. So that was good. And then I've had people who've gone to the guys and they said, no, you need this. This is what you need. We'll help you get through it, but you have to walk this walk. So everything is open to discussion. Not everything is negotiable. But to tell you the truth, more often than not, I've seen people be able to make changes so that it was a little easier when they're down here.
Right.
But again, self-esteem is such an issue for grown-ups and for kids and for, adolescents. And eating is such an issue because we use it. If we only ate properly, and by properly, I mean if we only ate when we were hungry, most Americans don't know what it feels like to be hungry.
No.
You eat because it's 5:30, or you eat because you always have ice cream during Survivor, or you eat because, you're mad, or you eat because you're happy. But almost very, very few of us eat because we're hungry. And, it takes a really long time. If you decide in the next 24 hours to only eat when you're hungry, you might be surprised at how often you eat, because it kind of takes a long time to be hungry.
Right, it does.
We're social creatures, and we eat out of social. My God, I just had a 4th of July party, and there was so much food. There's always so much food at parties, but we're social creatures. Nobody ate because they were hungry. Everybody ate because it was delicious. So, yeah, I can help you eat when you're hungry or when you need to, and Betsy can help you eat the appropriate things for your body or your lifestyle or your health issues. So.
And
Yeah,
you know what's so funny is I am the total opposite. I can go a day or two without eating, then I'll get a headache, and then I'll realize I'm hungry. Um, so that's not good for me. So
No.
I realize that, and I don't advise anybody to do that. But my body's gotten so used to all I got to do is drink water all day, and I'm good. Or drink or eat ice or something like that, or I'll drink. I like ice cold water, so I have to eat the ice, and that's it. And my son was like, you know what, you got to stop this, girly girl. So I said, you know what is the problem? I don't like most foods. So I was like, well, I started eating soup, then I actually started eating. I had to find something that you're comfortable with, whether it's, it might be a meatloaf, or it might be a bean burger, or it might be a casserole. It's gotta be, I find I like a lot of soups. I like drinking versus chewing a lot. That's kind of lazy in some points too, but I find I love soups. I like tomato basil soup. I like, vegetable soup. And then, yeah, I'll eat the vegetables because they're there. So I found that kind of weird. And then my body was like, okay, well, now that we figured this out, you're drinking a smoothie. That's nice. You're putting more nutrients in yourself. Because like I said, oh, I just thought it was like, it's okay. But Spirit tells you again. Spirit's like, excuse me, miss. Hello? 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 You. When's the last time you seen the inside of a food or a plate in front of you? And I'll think, and then that's when I go, okay, you need to really focus on eating. And we get the stereotype as well, images of how we were supposed to be, and people would think, well, she's a kind of thick girl, so I know she's eating all the time. And the thing is, you can be thick, but not eating as well, not eating properly. But or you can be thick and have other issues going on, which I learned, some medical issues, some scarring and stuff that make you swell out, or medicine. So all of this is good because it helps the mind. Seeing you will help the mind actually diagnose exactly, okay, why am I really not eating, or why am I overeating, or what is the appropriate I need to be doing. Like, okay, what is feeling good for me? That's where you come in to help them diagnose, because they really might not know about them. They're like, well, I just eat like this or skip meals because that's what my mother did, or that's what my cousin did, or this is what, magazines say, because they were never taught properly how to eat. So yes, they would come and see me to learn about, the food pyramid, if you will. I don't go by the government, but by vegan or vegetarian or whatever it is that you seek, it'll help you define. And talking to you, you sit down and you help them. They help themselves, which you sit down showing them and guiding them where they need to go. And they'll be able to tell you, this is what I want, or this is what I need, and be able to regurgitate it back. So it's not like, like they say hypnosis plant things in people's mind. That's not true. Some hypnotists have gotten a bad rap, but we're changing that. We're busting the brain open wide right now, which I really love. On
Absolutely.
a Go ahead.
Absolutely. I agree with you totally.
So I'm glad that we have someone like yourself that is so involved and so helpful with things to out there, like how to get closer. It might have been something in their past life why they are so standoffish, or what people perceive to be standoffish, or why they're so rigid. And they were like, well, you know what? They've always been like that. They were actually born. Again, that's where you come in to help them with their past life, to show them why they like structure. And there's nothing wrong with that. But how to have fun, or why is someone just the total opposite? That's where you come in and help them. And again, taking them to their past, where, figuring out karma and dharma and all the things that play a part in your life, how to get rid of and release, and seeing you and know that some things might not be cured in one session, that you might need a couple of sessions. Some people think, like, if you like the magic pill, okay, well, a male being, I want to have sex and that Viagra works, but what is the side effects? There's really no side effects for for hypnotherapy that I know of. I don't know any side effects that can work, because it is your mind. Am I making
Absolutely.
sense? So I
You're
want.
making perfect sense. And one of the things I want to say again, why we would so well together. I'm not a dietitian, and I'm not a fitness guru. I'm not telling you to go on a diet. I'm not telling you what exercise to do. What I am suggesting to you is that your body knows the foods that feel good, and your body knows the foods that fuel you, and your body knows what exercise feels good. And I will help you to feel good when you move and when you stretch, and when you make the right food choices. But you know what? If you don't know what the right food choices are, that could be really intimidating.
Right.
So come see me. I'll help you be ready to make great food choices, and then I will hook you up with Chef Bessie, who will say, "Oh, okay, here. Your body's craving that, then let's do this. Or you want to change this, so let's do that." I mean, whether you're a runner or a couch potato or something in between, I'm sure you can work with somebody and help them know what the best course of action is. And let's not forget the fact that you know all this. I mean, my God, you know so much stuff. This isn't about like the food pyramid. Let's not go there. But you know so much stuff. If you've got, if you're tired, or if you're diabetic, or if you're, you're anemic, or I don't know, there's 100 different things that because food is fuel and food is medicine.
True.
You don't need to go to a little brown bottle with a childproof cap from your pharmacist. You can call Chef Bessie, and she can put what you need to be taken.
Right.
Because we're lazy, and that's another way that it does comes in, because we're lazy. And it's easier to go to the pharmacy and get that little brown bottle than to cook something, but I can help you stop being lazy, and Bessie can tell you what you should be cooking.
Right. Well,
so, it's just such a great combination.
Yes, it's called instant. What is it? My friend and I were talking about. He's from Iceland, and he said Americans want instant success. It's like he said it's like eating ramen noodles that is done in a minute. He said that's how you guys think of stuff, and I said I don't think like that. So I got kind of offended. And he says I'm not saying you in general. I'm just saying that is how he see Americans. And I looked at that and I was like, you know what, you're right. If this don't work, get this. If this don't work, get this and this and this. And I'm like, wow. But to give people an example, I have personally worked with Jen, and we were working on me is that, the trigger was me. I went to a metaphysical church called Logos in Scottsdale, Arizona, years ago. And this guy he did past life regression, but the way he did it, he drew and told you about it. Like he went home and meditated or did something. But it wasn't like you do hypno. So I said to him, I want to know what's going on. So he did this drawing, and he came back, and it was very beautiful. You can heal. And when he said I was a co-creator, I think everything in my metaphysical and psychic being and spiritual being starts shutting down. I became so angry. And he looked at me, said a transformation. He's like, what is wrong? I said, you told me that I'm a co-creator of this earth. I thought that was the worst thing he could have told me. If he would have told me everything but that, I don't think I would have shut down as much as I did. But I was so hurt, and he was like, why are you so hurt? I said, look how bad this world is. Look how much anger and hate and all this stuff. It bothered me. And I started floating out on the ethers, if you will. Well, I'm part of this world, but I didn't want to be part of this world, if that makes sense, if you will. So I like my light body. I like my spiritual body. I dream of doing other things, and it was not I worked in this world and did food, and my heart was in it because I was helping people. But when I found out, I had a different outline. So when we did our session, and that session actually helped me understand exactly what I was doing. I'm floating out here. Even though I'm talking to you, I'd rather be here than here. And then it helped me go on to do another thing I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. Muna Kia. I don't know if you know anything about that. Do you know anything about Muna Ikea?
I know very little about it.
It's about transforming
Tell us what it is.
It's the energy of transferring and being the earth keeper's guardian. And I didn't understand that fully, but it was came to me 3 times when I was in Arizona, and came to me again. And I said, okay, Spirit's like, my number is 3. So if it comes in 3, then I know I'm supposed to do it. So I was like, okay, I met this lady, and she was sitting there, and then she said something about Muna Aki, and I was like, okay, okay, I got you. I'm going to do this. And I've been working with this young lady, and exactly what I stated. I like floating in the ethers versus being here in the earth and dealing with the conflict. I don't like debating. Not debating, that's the wrong word. I don't like people arguing. I don't like people hurting each other. I don't like racism. I don't like prejudice of any kind, whether it's sex, religion, or whatever. It doesn't sit well in my soul. It bothers me. I don't like people being mean to each other. So it opened that up for me to see, wow, this is why I'm sitting on one spot and not letting go, because I was disappointed in what I felt I was responsible for the whole world. And I was able to let that go, that I am not responsible for the whole world. This is, everybody has their own responsibility and their own purposes. So that helped me in a lot. And having that session with you, even though it seemed like everything was going in and out, you helped me a lot coin in what I'm supposed to be doing and actually find happiness, that I was able to also speak my truth and let go. Because I'm one of those people to keep peace. I'm not going to say anything. Sometimes. Now, for my children, oh boy, off with your head. For me, just to keep peace because I don't want to argue with you, I'll do that. So, thank you so much for helping me transition to the person that I was able to accept this young lady, to actually do the Muna Aki ceremonies with. And it helps elevate and relieve as well. So I'll tell you more, but it opened me up and prepared me. Doing a session with you opened me up to prepare me for to do Muna Aki. So
And I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And it was such a pleasure to work with you. One of the things I love most about what I do is I get to do what I do. I get to explore these places with people. And again, I don't tell you where you're going because I don't know where you're going. But I get to be the first one that you talk to about. And that's really a hot ticket. I tell you, that's a lot of fun. When you have been in another lifetime, and women are perfectly fine. I'm sorry, it sounds prejudiced or sexist, but women are perfectly